Hello, welcome everyone to He Still Speaks Now. Listen, it's a pleasure to be before you today. I'm bringing forth a thought provoking message that I want you to be aware of. I have many occasions to bring forth messages, and I want this message to be a blessing to you. I This is the final segment of I left the United States and I went into a foreign country, which was Canada. For me, it was a foreign country because I have never left the United States of America other than the first one time when I made a mistake and went to, excuse me, to Mexico. But I want you to understand one thing. We can see ourselves in what we believe when we leave our place of birth. We don't have to leave physically to another country, but we can leave our mindset and how we think about things. We must come to understand that we are our thoughts. What you're doing today, what you have done in the past, reveal who you are and where you're heading to. This particular trip that I took to Canada revealed one thing to me, that it exposed my weakness and my strength, and it caused me to think about faith because when I went into Canada, the buildings and the environment and the structures, and it's just like an ordinary place other than me going through the border. But then I began to think that what makes Canada, the people that's there, the thoughts that we think. Look around in the neighborhood, look around you. Wherever you live, the neighborhood is the result of people's thoughts. Anywhere you live or where you living now is because the thought that you're thinking. No one is responsible for where you are, only you. I have no power to make you do anything. I have no power to make you believe what I'm saying. I'm just giving you the truth. And by giving the truth, sometimes people don't want to hear the truth because it causes them to think differently, or they may consider or don't want to consider that what they're doing and have been doing and what they're saying is not the truth. So someone have to speak up. I'm fulfilling my purpose in life to be a vessel to say things that need to be said. And sometimes people don't want to hear the truth, and sometimes they don't want to allow themselves, so they will shut you down. And in doing so, I am bringing forth the truth from my particular trip on a vacation that I had. I saw something spiritually significant that I want to give you a spiritual insight so that next time you decide to take a physical trip out of the country or another part of the United States, or even in your own room, wherever you may be thinking, you may take a vacation in your mind and begin to change your way of thinking. So we must become consciously aware of the thought that we think. So when I went to Canada, it exposed my strength and my weaknesses. I had to trust in God that He will get me there and bring me back. Anything could have happened, vehicle trouble, you know, anything could have happened. Who would I have called? I couldn't call someone in Canada and say, could you please come help me? In other words, could you come rescue me? I had to rely on faith that God will get me there and get me back. So that was the testing and the trial for me. And then I was there. I came across something that was very strange to me. When I had to spend the money, I had to convert United States currency into Canadian money. And it felt like I was using monopoly money to buy things because everything is different. When you go out of another country, the dollar value changes. So I felt weird spending Canadian money because it felt like it was play. And then doing that, it made me realize that, wow, I'm in a foreign country. I had to assimilate my way of thinking. I had to assimilate my thoughts into agreeing with what they want me to do and how I should behave in that country. And what astonished me that when I went to purchase some gas, I went inside thinking I want to put so much money. I said $20, for example, into the tank. The guy said you got to go back out and pump the gas first. I said, weird, that's strange. And it reminded me back in the day in the United States of America, it was once upon a time that you could actually drive up to a gas pump, pump your gas, go inside and pay for it. But I guess because morale had changed, people start driving off. Trust has went downhill. So it's not done commonly in some parts of the United States of America where you can actually pull up to a pump, pay, pump whatever you want in your tank, and walk in to pay. So I had to get used to that, and that is what was new to me because I experienced it in this country, in America. And when I went to Canada, I saw that they was doing something that we once used to do. Are they perfect? No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying that I had to assimilate to their laws and their belief and their system. I could not come in and say, "Oh, I want to I want to pay first before I pump it because I may not have the correct amount of money." No, I had to assimilate. You and I must begin to assimilate into the truth. We who say we are Christians and we still think like the world, then are we assimilating in the truth? No. We are assimilating based on what we think, feel, want, and believe. I had a conversation with a particular person one day, and I was sharing something with them because they asked me a question. I said, "Do you ever think about what does God think about certain things, politics and religion?" She said, "No, I never thought of that." And I said, well, being a Christian, we are told we must be renewed in the spirit of our mind. We must begin to think the thoughts of God because his thoughts are not our thoughts and his ways are not our ways. And we must go to him and ask him, what do he want us to do in this any given situation? She said, wow, I never thought of that. And think about it. You and I, and even when I was growing up and going into my walk, a spiritual walk, I had to learn these things. It was hard. I had to die. I had to sacrifice to what I thought I knew. Because when you are looking around in the world as today, what mind are you thinking with? Are you assimilating in the worldly thoughts of the world when it comes to politics and religion? Are you thinking and seeing and speaking as you perceive as God wants you to speak? Because there's a difference. We can't say we are a Christian and we thinking like the world because of our color, of our skin, how much money we have, our property, or whatever. We got to think with the mind of God. So when we refuse to think with the mind of God, then we default back to our carnal mind of what I think, feel, want, and believe that overrides what God requires to do. So we must begin to assimilate, just like I had to assimilate in my vacation trip. I had to adapt, educate myself about the laws of the land in Canada before I went there. Even when I was there, it was a learning experience for me. And I say that we all must. I had to go. I had to go there to find out me. Say what that makes sense. I had to go there so it revealed my sins, my weakness, my strength, my pride, my whatever. I'm not perfect. No one is perfect, but we must grow into our knowledge of the Lord. We must grow into the knowledge of the word. We must begin to be born again, new in our mind. We must know the truth. We must die to our way of thinking and begin to trust in the truth and begin to apply faith. Fear not the things of the unknown so long we educate ourselves. So I had to educate myself about my vacation trip. I had to plan before I got there. I had to plan even when I was there, what I'm going to do, how long it take me to drive this and that, what is the speed limit, which is totally different also. So when we go to a foreign land, we must adapt and assimilate to that country laws. And we see it today when people come to this country, they're told they must adapt to this country laws. We see today that a lot of people, blacks and white and whomever, refuse to adapt, refuse to assimilate in the culture that they was born into. They're blaming others for their lack of, they're blaming other people because of the color of their skin or whatever. And this is all wrong. We must begin. So I had to go to Canada. It could have been Mexico, it could have been whatever, but I had to go. And why did I say that? When I stayed in the location I stayed at, I went into the room and therefore I sat there, unpacked my things, and I look over to the dresser and I saw uh, an object. There was a book. And I pick up the book and look at it. And I said, wow, this was meant for me. Why did I say that? Because it was a book, the same title, written by a different author, but had 99% of the contents of a book that I purchased back in Colorado. My pastor is teaching from this particular book. And when I saw the book on the counter, on the dresser, I knew that I had to be there. Someone said that may be strange. You went all the way to Canada for vacation to find a book. Yes, I look at things spiritually speaking. How many times we have gone places only thinking about ourselves, not recognizing that we are there not for ourselves, but we are there for another person. We are there to give someone something that they need. We are there to give them word of knowledge, revelation, or encouragement, or something, but we are there. If we take our mind off ourselves, we will begin to see that whatever we have done, whatever we are doing, is meant for us to do at that given moment. And we know that if we trust in the Spirit, it will always guide us in the right way. So I had to go there. I found the book, I saw the book, and I said, wow, it's meant for me to be here. It was meant for me to be there. And I will get back home after this vacation. It was meant for me to be there, to expose my strengths, my weaknesses, my lack of, and whatever. Me, I had to go there. How many times have you gone places and only to experience something that you have never experienced when you stayed home, but because you decide to think differently, whether you stayed in your location of birth or you went across the world, you experienced something that only you would have experienced because you left your location of birth or you left your mindset and the way you think. So sometimes we have to experience things from our comfort zone, away from our comfort zone, to expose our strength, our weaknesses, and what we are capable of doing and what we will not do. And hopefully we take all that we have learned, put it together, roll it up together, bake it in our mind, meditate on it, study on it, and decide to say, okay, I'm going to take this, I'm going to take that, I'm going to apply this to my life, I'm going to get rid of that. Yes, people are not going to like me. People are not going to like the new me. They won't think I'm crazy, think I'm Looney Tune, or whatever they may think of me. It's all foul. Well, as long as I know that my trip, my spiritual, mentally, physical trip changed me. Because when I change myself through the grace of God, then He will send me out to be a blessing for other people. So I left the United States because I had to. I had to. It was a new experience for me. It was a beginning for me to experience. I would like to go there again, or maybe go to other parts of the country to see how other people live. When we stay in our own comfort zone and we don't expose ourselves to education and knowledge and see how other people live and gather information to apply it to what we know, get rid of stuff that we were thinking based on what we saw on television, radio, and what our friends tell us. They can tell us anything, but when we actually go to a specific location, we see that what we have been told or what we saw on TV or heard on the radio was all a lie. So we must begin to experience a new beginning, a new journey. If it takes you to leave your physical place of birth, then so be it. If it does not take you to leave your physical place of birth for that time being, then you can change the way you think. And so you take a vacation in your mind. You get away from your thoughts or what you think about self, what you think what you should do, and begin to trust in the Spirit of God to reveal to you what should you be doing. Are you assimilating? Are you being renewed in the spirit of your mind? Are you only concerned with self? Are you only concerned with what's in it for me, what I can get for it? Are you concerned about the truth? Are you concerned about your next door neighbor? Are you concerned about your children? Are you only concerned about you? Are you consuming self, and not the things around you? Did you ever ask yourself, what should I be doing for God today or tomorrow? What plans He has for me? Tomorrow is every time we blink our eyes and take a deep breath. We walk into past, present, and future. Tomorrow is not promised to us. You can have all the money in the world. You can have a pretty wife, a pretty husband, all the property is, but you can't stop death. You don't know when anything going to happen to you. And some of us, sadly, are living like we're going to live for a long time. I come to you bringing forth thought, encouraging message to cause you to look at self. Why do I do what I do? Because I have to. I feel that this is my call. Everyone has a potential. Everyone has a purpose. Everyone have something within them that God gave them at the time of their birth. If they really look deep within inside themselves and apply themselves to what they love and what they feel they're meant to be, they could accomplish anything. I say, I wish I was a singer. Why? Because you can get a record contract just like that. You can sing, whatever, whatever. But I'm not a singer. So I'm a writer, write books. I'm good at doing what I'm doing right now. So I recognize my true potential. We all have a potential that we need to tap into. Don't look at the television and radio and listen to the radio and TV and say, well, I want to be like this person or that person. Look at self and say, what do I enjoy the most? What makes me happy? What is my true purpose? And when we apply our true purpose, we're going to slip and we're going to fall. We're going to struggle. Everything does not come to us easy. We must make an attempt to try and fall and fall and fall. Just like me, I'm introducing myself to you. Some people may have said they don't like what I say, and that's fine. But do your own homework. I don't condemn no one. I'm giving you information that cause you to think. Whatever you do with it is fine. If you refuse to accept anything I say, then that's fine. But guess what? If what I've said to you come to pass, ask yourself this question. Will you have the opportunity to, oh, what Anthony said is right. I better jump on it right now. No, you must make the choice today to decide. Should you go on a spiritual vacation in your mind and begin to examine your strength, your weaknesses, your desire over God's desire? Begin to call into question everything you say and do from this day forward. And a lot of individuals who have spoken to over the years refuse to accept the truth. They say, I want the truth. I want to be different. I want to make something different in my life. But guess what? When they hear, they compare the truth with their friends or what they hear, what they have to give up. They justify their actions. They justify their behavior. They say, oh, I don't want to listen to you. Who are you to tell me what to do? You know, you my brother, you my sister, you my cousin, you my nephew, you my so-and-so. Who are you to tell me what to do? I'm no one. But when God began to use you and I, then we are speaking what he wants us to say. So therefore, at that given moment, he's speaking through me to tell you who are the sound of my voice that we must begin to examine our behavior from this day forward. Tomorrow is not promised to us. We must begin to examine ourselves and say, should I take a spiritual, mental vacation from the things that I'm doing and saying? Should I begin to look at what I'm doing and saying and begin to examine what I'm doing and begin to apply truth and righteousness to the things that I'm saying and doing? We must begin to wake up. I always say the trailblazers of the past who've done a lot of this through their blood and sweat and tears, they did a lot of things that we are fortunate to have today, and some people take it for granted. They're always blaming, oh, the color of my skin, I need this, the color of my skin, I need that. Who are we to determine that we need special rights, special favor because of the color of our skin? We need to begin to wake up from what we are being seduced and being deceived in. Begin to call into question, say, I think it's time for me to take my vacation. Remember, you don't have to leave your physical location. You can take a vacation in your room, in your closet, or whatever. Begin to examine what you're going to throw away, what you're going to pack, what you're going to take along in your physical walk tomorrow. How are you going to behave? How are you going to approach people? Are you going to begin to think differently? Or are you going to allow yourself to be seduced by the thoughts that you're thinking? And for those of us who say we are Christians, are we really following the word of God? Are we thinking with his mind? Are we responding as he wants us to respond as it pertains to politics and what we hear on the TV and radio and news? Are we deciding that we're not going to apply his words and his thoughts and his character in any given situation? If we find out, I do it sometimes I forget, sometimes I get over emotional, but as long as we recognize that we are doing it and working on our behavior to change, then we can make a difference. So thank you for listening to me, and thank you for listening to my other messages, and may you be blessed from hearing them. Please share, please subscribe to the channel, excuse me, and share with other individuals. Allow them to hear the many messages that I uploaded on this YouTube station channel, that they may be blessed and receive a spiritual understanding to where they must go and what they must do. begin to call into question everything. Always ask why. When you see things pops up on the news and the TV, ask yourself why. Who's behind this? What they're going to gain from this? Don't be deceived. Begin to assimilate in the truth. Assimilate in your godly calling. Assimilate and be used to be a blessing for others when you work on self. So visit my YouTube channel continuously and visit my website, HeStillSpeaksNowListen.org. Have any questions? There's an email. If you have a thought-provoking story that people can benefit from, email it to me, and if I like it, I will upload it to my blog. And there's thought-provoking, there's a lot of messages on that site that you can be blessed by just reading it. He Still speaks to you wherever you are. Take of it like first to 12th grade. Wherever you are on that scale from 1 to 12, it will speak to you. When you go back, it will speak to you. And also, if you have not purchased any of my books, just go to the tab that says web store, or you can go to Create Space and you can purchase any one of my books. And if you want one where you want me to sign it, just please email me and request one, and I'll sign it, send you the appropriate one. Of course, will not be free. There's a book on there that's free. I call it Black Lives Matter from the Eyes of a Cop. I feel that people need to know the truth. It's not based on emotion, it's based on facts. Some people may not like what they read. They may not like what they have heard, or even my own personal experience. But I also have facts that anybody can do their own homework and be not caught up into the emotionalism of what's going on. When people are doing things and say, I'm doing it for you, are they really doing it for you? Or are they doing it for themselves? It can remind me of something I wrote called Stealing the Plantation That Benefits Me. I'm telling you that steal my plantation of ideas and belief, letting you think that it benefit you, but it actually benefit me. And when you decide to escape because you start thinking for yourself, how do I get you back? I whip you with lies and accusation and bring you back on my plantation of ideas and belief and give you a little bit of truth in the midst of the lies. And you say, okay, yes, master, yes, master. We do that all the time, whether we're aware of it or not. We need to begin to think, examine, ask ourselves, why? Should I escape this plantation that I have allowed myself to be held captive? You and only you can set yourself free with the truth. Thank you once again for visiting He Still Speaks Now Listen